I'd like to share with you today my knowledge and experience around something called sponsored coaching. And this is where there is a third individual that's involved with the coaching relationship. So you have the person being coached, the coach, and a sponsor. Now, coaching is a confidential way to develop an individual's skills and behaviours. But often I find that organisations, particularly if coaching is a relatively new concept to them, want a little bit more input in terms of what's actually going on with the coaching. And of course the confidentiality aspect of that creates a few issues. So what we found is a really good solution to this is that we involve somebody from HR or the line manager or somebody who has mentoring skills within the business to become the sponsor for the coaching that's going on for the individual. And they then actually get involved in the coaching that's going on. And I'll explain how we do that. What we do is we set up right at the beginning, and I've talked previously about a chemistry meeting, and this is often where a sponsor will be involved, where the manager who's being coached meets with the coach and agrees what needs to go in terms of the objectives for coaching. But what you'd have in that initial setup meeting is a sponsor there as well, somebody that the manager being coached knows, understands, and is comfortable with being the sponsor. And that sponsor then enters into not just a two-way contract between the manager being coached and the coach, but a three-way with the sponsor being involved as well. So that the objectives are set around and for the manager, and that the sponsor knows what they are and may indeed have some input into it. Once that relationship has been set, and on a number of instances I've actually had a written sponsored coaching contract with all three of us signing the agreement on the objectives for coaching and the approach that each of us are going to take. Once that's signed and agreed and so forth, then what happens is that the relationship between the coach and the sponsor closes at that point in time, and the coach only communicates with, in a confidential way, the manager being coached. At the same time, the sponsor hears from the manager what's going on in the coaching and can, on a day-to-day basis, support and give feedback as they see changes in behaviours and development of skills. The coach, of course, is having regular sessions with the manager and can indeed contact them between sessions to check on actions and developments and so forth. Now, normally what would then happen is that probably after about 3 coaching sessions, the coach would then bring all 3 of us back together again. So the coach facilitates, in this instance me, would facilitate a meeting between the manager being coached and the sponsor and myself, just to review the coaching objectives to make sure that they're being achieved and that they are very much in line with the organisation, because the sponsor is also acting on behalf of the organisation. It may mean a change in objectives, a development of them, or whatever, but that review is facilitated, and then the relationship again closes between the coach and the sponsor, so that the coaching can go on for perhaps another 1, 2 or even 3 coaching sessions, and then come back as a 3 together to review what's happened. Now, the advantages of this is that the relationship in terms of coaching is maintained as a confidential relationship. Nothing is fed back from the coach to the sponsor. At the same time, the coaching is reviewed on a regular basis. Objectives can be changed accordingly. And the organisation via the sponsor knows what's going on within the coaching and can feed that back. So you get a really positive 3-way relationship going that works for everyone. That's sponsored coaching.